basis. Of the 65 available tournament bids, 31 are automatically given the conference champion. The tournament committee hands out the remaining 34 bids on an at-large basis. An opening round game will take place on Tuesday night to narrow the field to 64 teams. But before we unveil the brackets for this season, here's a look at the final top 25 media poll of the season. There are a couple of shakeups as we get ready for March Madness. The UCLA Bruins fell all the way from the number 5 spot to number 13.
That's not the direction you want to be going at this time of year, but they're a strong enough team that I believe they can turn it around.
Also, a new team has fought its way into the top 25. The Marquette Golden Eagles break into the poll as the number 22 team. Now let's take a look at the NCAA Tournament bubble and see which teams are sitting at home with their fingers crossed, hoping to see their name in the brackets. There are a lot of worthy candidates among these 10 teams. Clark, which of these bubble teams stands out to you right now?
Boston University. More wins than a lot of the other teams on the bubble. But this relatively weak conference is going to be a big hindrance for them.
You got that right. And who else might be in the same position?
Kansas State should be considered among the best of the major conference teams, not holding an automatic bid. But there are plenty of non-power conference teams knocking on the door that may prevent them from getting an invitation.
I'm sure it's been a long week for those teams, but the wait's almost over. The NCAA Selection Committee has finished its meeting, and we're ready to unveil the top 4 seeds in this year's tournament. The North Carolina Tar Heels are the top overall seed, and they will play in the East region. On to the second number 1 seed, who will play in the South region. The Towson Tigers are seeking their second NCAA championship in school history. The Wisconsin Badgers are our third number 1 seed, and they'll play in the Midwest Regional. They're back in the tournament again, and no doubt they'll be feeding off the experience of last year's appearance as they try to get to the Final Four this year. And finally, our fourth number 1 seed will play in the West Region. The Alabama Crimson Tide are in the tournament field as a number 1 seed for the first time in the history of their program. Now, here's how the brackets shape up based on where the number 1 seeds have been assigned. In one national semifinal game, the winner of the East Region will play the winner of the South Regional. In the other semifinal game, the winner of the Midwest Regional will play the winner of the West Regional. Those games will be played on Saturday, April 4th. Then we'll be on to the national championship game on Monday night, April 6th. Anything shocking to you about those picks?
I don't think I'm alone in my surprise with these picks. Whenever you reach this far down the poll for the top seed, you're guaranteed to have some second guesses coming your way.
So, the number 1 seeds out of the way, finally time to tackle the rest of the bracket. First up, we take a look at the East Regional. The North Carolina Tar Heels are the top seed, finishing at 27-4. They won both the regular season and conference tournament title in the ACC. They will take on the winner of the opening round play-in game between Stephen F. Austin with 15 wins and Bucknell from the Patriot League. And now, the number 8 seed, the Seton Hall Pirates, come into the tournament 10th in their conference during the regular season and were quarterfinalists in their conference tournament. They're going to play the number 9 seed, the Utah Utes, who were semifinalists in their conference tournament, finishing at 28-6. Memphis comes in as the number 5 seed, finishing at 26-6. And they will take on the 12th seed from the Big 12, the Oklahoma State Cowboys, with 20 wins. Providence enters the field as the number 4 seed from the Big East. This marks their 16th appearance in the NCAA Tournament in team history. They'll be getting ready to face the number 13 seed, the Cornell Big Red, finished the season with 19 wins.
Providence right. Have more to do than any other team in this tournament. They haven't had a lot of experience in the tournament recently, so it's difficult to say exactly how they'll handle it. They've shown they're capable of playing with the best teams in the nation during the regular season. Now they need to show they belong with those teams come tournament time.
The LSU Tigers are in as the number 6 seed. They'll be taking on the number 11 seed, the Baylor Bears, with 21 wins. Texas comes in as the number 3 seed, finishing at 26-6. Idaho State comes into facement at number 14 with 19 wins in the tournament championship of the Big Sky. Our number 7 seed is from the ACC. The Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets were rewarded for their outstanding play this season with an at-large bid and a ticket to the Big Dance. They are going to play the number 10 seed, the South Carolina Gamecocks, who were semifinalists in their conference tournament, finishing at 19-12. Next up is the number 2 seed, the Arizona Wildcats, are the conference tournament champions from the Pac-10. They'll be going up against the number 15 seed, Alabama A&M Bulldogs, with 20 wins. 32nd appearance all-time in the NCAA tournament. What a tremendous regional final we have in this bracket. If the number 1 and 2 seeds here make it through the first 3 rounds unscathed, that could be one of the games of the tournament. Next up, we'll take a look at the South Regional. The Towson Tigers are the top seed, finishing at 33-1. They won both the regular season and conference tournament titles in the Colonial Athletic Association. They'll take on the Rams, the number 16 ranked team. This marks their first appearance in the NCAA tournament in school history. St. Mary comes in as the number 8 seed, finishing at 24-7. Oregon comes in to face them at number 9 with 21 wins and a legion of loyal fans just dying for some tournament success. Tennessee enters the field as the number 5 seed from the SEC. This will be their 17th appearance all-time in the NCAA tournament. They'll be getting ready to face the number 12 seed, the Western Michigan Broncos. Finished the season with 22 wins.
The Tennessee Volunteers are certainly a team to watch out for. They're a tremendous all-around team and have the ability to beat anyone on any given day. They didn't get to be one of the highest-ranked teams in the nation by accident. This is a dangerous team that knows how to win, and I would not take them lightly.
Marquette comes in as the number 4 seed, finishing at 22-12. They'll take on the 13th seed from the Atlantic Sun Conference. And now the number 6 seed, the Washington Huskies, come into the tournament 6th in their conference during the regular season and were semifinalists in their conference tournament. They are going to play the number 11 seed, the Belmont Bruins, who were semifinalists in their conference tournament, finishing at 22-7. The Gonzaga Bulldogs are in as the number 3 seed. They'll be taking on the number 14 seed, the St. Francis Red Flags, with 19 wins. Next up is the number 7 seed. The Mississippi State Bulldogs have established themselves as one of the best teams from the SEC. They'll be going up against the number 10 seed, the Boston University Terriers, with 22 wins. This marks their 7th appearance ever in the NCAA tournament. Our number 2 seed is from the Big East. The West Virginia Mountaineers were rewarded for their outstanding play this season with an at-large bid and a ticket to the Big Dance. They're going to play the number 15 seed, the Wright State Raiders, who came in first in their conference tournament, finishing at 18-12. Some of the lower seeds in this bracket have the ability to not only compete with the high seeds, but win a few games. The potential for a Cinderella or 2 in this bracket is definitely there. On to our 3rd bracket of the day. Let's take a look at the Midwest Regional. The Wisconsin Badgers are the top seed, finishing at 26-7. They won both the regular season and conference tournament titles in the Big Ten. They'll take on the Coastal Carolina Chanticleers, the number 16 ranked team. This is their 3rd appearance in the NCAA tournament in team history. Our number 8 seed is from the Pac-10. The Stanford Cardinals were rewarded for their outstanding play this season with an at-large bid and a ticket to the Big Game. They're going to play the number 9 seed, the Loyola College Greyhounds, who came in first in their conference tournament, finishing at 24-6. The Duke Blue Devils are in the number 5 seed. They'll be taking on the number 12 seed, the Vermont Catamounts, with 21 wins. Indiana enters the field as the number 4 seed from the Big Ten. It's yet another appearance in the brackets for a school that's no stranger to the NCAA tournament. They'll be getting ready to face the number 13 seed, the San Diego State Aztecs, who finished the season with 19 wins.
The Indiana Hoosiers are a team I love watching play. They've been one of the highest-scoring teams in the country, and I don't see any reason for them to slow down during the tournament. If they can dictate the tempo of the game and force the other teams to run with them, they are very hard to deal with. I wouldn't put it past these guys to make a run this year.
Rhode Island comes in as the number 6 seed, finishing at 24-6. And they take on the 11th seed from the A-10 Conference, the St. Joseph's Hawks, with 21 wins. And now the number 3 seed, the Connecticut Huskies, come into the tournament after finishing 2nd in their conference during the regular season and were semifinalists in their conference tournament. They are going to play the number 14 seed, the Louisiana Lafayette Raging Cajuns, who came in first in their conference tournament, finishing at 19-12. Next up is the number 7 seed. The Cincinnati Bearcats have established themselves as one of the best teams from the Big East. They'll be going up against the number 10 seed, the Kentucky Wildcats, with 21 wins. They return once more to the very familiar surroundings of the NCAA tournament. Syracuse comes in as the number 2 seed, finishing at 23-8. Western Illinois comes in to face them at number 15 with 16 wins. In the tournament tournament championship of the conference. It's the first question every selection Sunday. Which is the toughest bracket? Well, this bracket looks to me like it wins that prize this year. Not only are the top seeds strong, the lower seeds can be dangerous as well. And finally, let's have a look at the West Regional. The Alabama Crimson Tide are the top seed, finishing at 26-6. They were winners of the regular season championship in the SEC. They'll take on the Tigers of the Pacific, the number 16 ranked team. This is their 9th appearance to the NCAA Tournament in school history. Next up is the number 8 seed. The North Carolina State Wolfpack have established themselves as one of the best teams from the ACC. They'll be going up against the number 9 seed, the Ohio State Buckeyes, with 22 wins. They return once more to the very familiar surroundings of the NCAA Tournament. Illinois comes in as the number 5 seed, finishing at 21-11. And they will take on the 12th seed from the Missouri Valley Conference, the Southern Illinois Salukis, with 20 wins. Louisville comes in as the number 4 seed, finishing at 24-9. Chattanooga comes in to face them at number 13 with 22 wins to the tournament championship of the Southern Conference. Our number 6 seed is from the Pac-10. The USC Trojans were rewarded for their outstanding play this season with an at-large bid and a ticket to the big game. They are going to play the number 11 seed, the Kansas State Wildcats, who were 6th in their conference, finishing at 20-13. The UCLA Bruins are in as the number 3 seed. They'll be taking on the number 14 seed, the Nevada Wolfpack, with 18 wins. And now the number 7 seed, the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame, come into the tournament after finishing 7th in their conference during the regular season and were losers in their first game at their conference tournament. They are going to play the number 10 seed, the Miami Hurricanes, who were semifinalists in their conference tournament, finishing at 18-11. Michigan State enters the field as the number 2 seed from the Big Ten. This will be their 23rd appearance in the NCAA tournament in school history. They'll be getting ready to face the number 15 seed, the Tennessee Martin Skyhawks. Finished the season with 15 wins.
The Michigan State Spartans are a team that is just so powerful and strong up front. I would put their front court up against just about any other team in the nation right now. It's always good to have strong guard play, but if you ask most coaches, I guarantee you they take the good big man over the good little man most times. Their interior play should serve them very well in this competition.
This bracket has the potential to give us a sensational matchup in the regional final if everything goes according to form and the top 2 seeds can survive the early round. Clark, how do you view this year's top 16?
Maybe I haven't agreed with the selection committee every year, but I think they did a great job this time. The top 16 looked just about right to me. Michigan State has just as much firepower as a few of those number 1 teams, and I think they'll be around longer than a few of them as well. They are a tough team.
Now, let's see how the conference representation fares. The Big East gets 10 teams. The Pac-10 with 6. 6 out of the SEC. The ACC gets 5 teams.
What a down year for the non-power conference. We're used to seeing at least one of those conferences compete on the level of the power conference, but not this year.
And let's not forget the team out of the American East Conference. For a small conference, they competed at a very high level this year. Those teams could be the place to look if you're trying to find a Cinderella story in the tournament.
I'm surprised there were so few bids for the teams in Conference USA. It was an especially disappointing year for that conference. Usually you can count on the field of the nation with big teams coming out of there. But this was a season where very few of those teams could maintain any type of positive momentum.
Here's the list of the teams that were on the bubble heading into Selection Sunday. So, partner, which of those invitees should be sending the selection committee a thank you card?
South Carolina played in one of the power conferences, and that counts for a few extra wins in the eyes of the NCAA, whether it's right or not. But let's not take anything away from them. They had a nice year.
While those teams are celebrating getting into the tournament, let's take a look at the other teams who were on the short end of the stick.
Drexel stumbled to the finish line coming down the stretch. And that's not the way to close out the season if you're hoping for an at-large bid. They couldn't get it done in their conference tournament. Their goose was cooked.
All right, Clark, now that we know all the teams in matchup, time to get the tournament underway and let the madness take over.
Greg, it's going to be a fantastic tournament. We've got an outstanding field and a lot of sensational players. I guarantee there are some memorable moments soon to come.
For my partner Clark Kellogg and for all of us here in the 2K Sports Studios, I'm Greg Gumbel. Thanks for joining us on the NCAA Selection Show, brought to you by State Farm, the #1 auto insurer. Enjoy all the excitement of the NCAA tournament.